Welcome to chapter 8 of this paper. From this chapter onwards, we are going to deal with a branch of graph theory called algebraic graph theory. Algebraic graph theory deals with properties of graphs by using techniques of linear algebra and abstract algebra. In this chapter, we are going to deal with a part of algebraic graph theory called spectral graph theory. Spectral graph theory gives information about the graph by using eigenvalues and eigenvectors of adjacency matrix or Laplacian matrix of a graph. In this module, we are going to review eigenvalues and eigenvectors of a square matrix. Recall, a non-zero vector x is said to be an eigenvector of A if there exists a scalar lambda such that Ax equal to lambda x. In this module, we are going to review different properties of eigenvalues and eigenvectors of a square matrix. Chapter 8 is about spectral graph theory. In this chapter, the module 1 we will see review of eigenvalues and eigenvectors of a square matrix. Objectives of this module are properties of eigenvalues and eigenvectors of a square matrix, eigenvalues of a symmetric matrices. So, first we define what is an eigenvalue of a square matrix. Let A be a square matrix of order n, then a non-zero vector x belongs to C power n, that means a vector with n by 1 vector with every entry is a complex number, is said to be an eigenvector of A corresponding to eigenvalue corresponding to scalar lambda belongs to C is called eigenvalue of A such that Ax equal to lambda x. Proposition: if A is an eigenvector of A corresponding to eigenvalue lambda, then for any C belongs to C complex numbers, Ca is also an eigenvalue of A corresponding to eigenvalue lambda. Proof is easy, just if you take A into C into A vector A, then we can bring C outside. So, capital A into small a vector A, then which is equal to C times lambda of A, which is equal to lambda times C of A. So, what we proved is Ax equal to lambda x, where x is C into A. So, consequently what happens, once we have a eigenvector, then any scalar multiple of it is also an eigenvector. So, corresponding to one eigenvalue there exists infinite number of eigenvectors. So, it is always going to consider the eigenvectors which are linearly independent corresponding to a given eigenvalue. Each eigenvector of a matrix corresponds to a unique eigenvalue. Each eigenvector of a matrix corresponds to each eigenvalue, unique eigenvalue. The proof goes like this: let x be an eigenvector of A with corresponding eigenvalues, say lambda 1, lambda 2. That means we are assuming there exist two eigenvalues lambda 1, lambda 2 corresponding to eigenvector x. So, we have to show that lambda 1 is equal to lambda 2. Then since lambda 1 is an eigenvalue and x is an eigenvector, we have Ax equal to lambda 1 x, also Ax equal to lambda 2 x. Hence, if you equate these, we will get lambda 1 minus lambda 2 into x equal to 0. But by definition, eigenvector is always a non-zero vector. So, x is a non-zero vector. So, lambda 1 minus lambda 2 has to be 0. In other words, lambda 1 is equal to lambda 2. So, each eigenvector of a matrix corresponds to unique eigenvalue. Now, we are going to define characteristic polynomial of a matrix A. Let x be an eigenvector of A corresponding to eigenvalue lambda of A, then lambda x is called eigenpair of A. If lambda x is an eigenpair of A, then we have Ax equal to lambda x, that is if and only if A minus lambda into In into x equal to 0, where In is identity matrix of size n, where n is the order of the matrix A. So, A minus lambda In into x equal to 0. This is if and only if A minus lambda into In determinant is equal to 0? It is because x is an eigenvector of A, so x is a non-zero eigenvector. So, if you take A minus lambda into In as B, then Bx equal to 0 has a non-zero solution. That is possible only if the determinant of B equal to 0. If determinant of B not equal to 0, that is B is invertible, then Bx equal to 0, if you multiply both sides with B inverse, then we are going to get x equal to 0, but here x is a eigenvector, so which is non-zero. So, we have that determinant of A minus lambda into In is equal to 0, but A minus lambda into In equal to 0 is an equation in lambda of degree n. The polynomial P A of x is equal to determinant of A minus x into In is called a characteristic polynomial of A. As this is a polynomial of degree n, it has n roots counted with multiplicity in C. Thus, a square matrix of order n has n eigenvalues, not necessarily distinct. So, every square matrix of order n will have n eigenvalues, that is for sure, but there may be a possibility that these eigenvalues may be repeated. So, now we are going to show that eigenvalues of a matrix are simply the roots of the characteristic polynomial. So, in order to find eigenvalues of the matrix, it is sufficient to find all the roots of the characteristic polynomial. Suppose A is a square matrix, then lambda is eigenvalue of A if and only if P A of lambda equal to 0, where P A of x is A minus x into I, where I is identity matrix of size equal to that of A. So, P of x is the characteristic polynomial of A. The proof goes like this: let A be a square matrix of order n, then lambda is an eigenvalue of A by definition if and only if there exists a non-zero vector x such that Ax equal to lambda x. So, that is there exists a x not equal to 0 such that Ax minus lambda x equal to 0, which is again equivalent to there exists a x not equal to 0, so such that A minus lambda times In into x equal to 0. So, A minus lambda into In is singular if and only if determinant of A minus lambda into In equal to 0, which is equivalent to P A of lambda is equal to 0. Thus, we got the required result, that is lambda is an eigenvalue of A if and only if P A of lambda equal to 0. That means eigenvalues are simply the roots of the characteristic polynomial. 0 is an eigenvalue of matrix if and only if it is a singular. So, the theorem statement is, suppose A is a square matrix, then A is singular if and only if lambda equal to 0 is an eigenvalue of A. Proof: we have the following equivalences. A is singular if and only if there exists x not equal to 0 with Ax equal to 0. If and only if there exists x not equal to 0 with Ax equal to 0 into x, that is lambda equal to 0 is an eigenvalue of A, as Ax equal to 0 into x means that 0 is an eigenvalue of A corresponding to eigenvector x. So, A is singular if and only if 0 is an eigenvalue of A. Now, we are going to deal with what happens to the non-singular matrices. The following theorem can easily verified, and it is leave it as an exercise to the reader. Suppose A is a square matrix of order n, then following statements are equivalent. A is non-singular, that is non-singular means determinant of A is not equal to 0. The null space of A contains only 0 vector, that is Ax equal to 0 implies x has to be 0. That is what you mean by null space of A. that means null space of A is collection of all vectors x such that Ax equal to 0. So, it contains only the 0 vector, then that is equivalent to A is non-singular. The linear system Ax equal to B has unique solution for every possible choice of B. B is any vector if you choose, then Ax equal to B has a unique solution, then it is equivalent to A is non-singular. It is because if A is non-singular, then A inverse exists, then if you multiply both sides Ax equal to B by A inverse, then A inverse into Ax equal to A inverse into B. So, x equal to A inverse into B, that is a unique solution for x. The columns of A form a linearly independent set. The rank of A is n. The rank of A is number of linearly independent columns. So, columns are linearly independent, then rank of A equal to n. So, all these 5 conditions are equivalent whenever A is non-singular. And also another equivalent condition is the determinant of A is non-zero. That is what we are assuming that A is non-singular means. So, determinant of A is non-zero, that is that A is not equal to 0. 0 is not an eigenvalue of A. So, in the previous result we saw that 0 is an eigenvalue of A if and only if A is singular or determinant of A is 0. So, these all 7 conditions are equivalent. One can use one, we can prove any 2 are equivalent. So, eigenvalues of a scalar multiple of a matrix. Suppose A is a square matrix and lambda is an eigenvalue of A, then alpha into lambda is an eigenvalue of alpha into A. Let x not equal to 0 is one of the eigenvector of A corresponding to eigenvalue lambda, then alpha into Ax is equal to alpha into Ax, which is equal to alpha into lambda into x. It is because x is an eigenvector of A. So, we have alpha lambda into x. So, alpha Ax equal to alpha lambda into x. So, x is not equal to 0 is an eigenvector of alpha A corresponding to eigenvalue alpha into lambda. Unfortunately, there does not exist theorems about the sum or product of arbitrary matrices, but one can obtain results about certain matrices. Example, there are results for powers of a matrix. So, now we will see how to evaluate eigenvalues of a powers of a matrix once we know the eigenvalues of a matrix. So, eigenvalues of powers matrices. Suppose A is a square matrix, lambda is eigenvalue of A, s is greater than or equal to 0 is an integer, then lambda power s is an eigenvalue of A power s. The proof goes like this: let x not equal to 0 be one of the eigenvector of A for lambda, then Ax equal to lambda x. Thus, we have A square into x, which is equal to A into Ax, which is equal to A into lambda x. So, lambda into Ax, but again Ax is nothing but lambda x. So, we have lambda square into x. So, what we proved is A square x equal to lambda square into x. So, we can use this induction to get the required result. We can apply induction on this A power n. So, we can show that lambda power s is an eigenvalue of A power s. We can also generalize this result for invertible matrices. That means, we can generalize for non-negative integers as well. For that, we need A should be an invertible matrix. Let A be an invertible matrix. Let lambda is not equal to 0 be an eigenvalue of A. It is we already know that every eigenvalue is non-zero. It is because A is invertible means A is a non-singular matrix. So, automatically 0 is not an eigenvalue of A. Then Ax equal to lambda x for some x is an eigenvector of lambda. Then which is if and only if 1 by lambda into x equal to A inverse into x. That means that we have that A inverse into x equal to 1 by lambda into x. That means that x is an eigenvector of A inverse corresponding to eigenvalue 1 by lambda. Since 1 by lambda is defined as lambda is not equal to 0, hence using similar argument as in the proof of above result, one has A is invertible matrix, then lambda power s is an eigenvalue of A power s for all integers s. So, eigenvalues of polynomials of a matrix, suppose A is a square matrix and lambda is an eigenvalue of A. Let q of x be any polynomial in variable x, then q of lambda is eigenvalue of q of A. This result we are going to use frequently. What it is saying is, if lambda is an eigenvalue of A and q of x is any polynomial, then q of lambda is an eigenvalue of q of A. So, once you know eigenvalues of A, then there is no need to compute eigenvalues, directly just substitute in the polynomial q, so that we will get eigenvalues of q of A. So, proof, let x not equal to 0 be an eigenvector of A corresponding to lambda, let q of x be a polynomial taken as A naught plus A 1 x plus A 2 x square and so on A m x power m. Then q A of x is equal to A 0 small a 0 into A power 0, that is identity, plus A 1 into A power 1 plus A 2 into A square and so on m into A power m into vector x. So, you can bring x inside. So, A naught into A power 0 into x plus A 1 into A x plus A 2 A square into x and so on A m A power m into x. So, A power 0 into x plus A 1 into A x plus A 2 into A square x and so on A m into A power m x. From the previous result, we know that if x is an eigenvector of A, then x is also eigenvector for A square, A cube and so on A power m. Not only that, eigenvalues becomes lambda, lambda square, lambda cube and so on lambda power m. So, we have A naught into lambda power 0 x plus A 1 into lambda x plus A 2 lambda square x and so on A m lambda power m x. So, with a little calculation we can put x outside. So, we have A naught into lambda power 0 plus A 1 lambda plus A 2 lambda square and so on A m lambda power m into x, that which is equal to q of lambda into x. So, what we proved is q of A into x equal to q of lambda into x. So, q of lambda is an eigenvalue of q of A with the corresponding eigenvector x naught equal to 0. So, whenever q lambda x is an eigenpair of A. The eigenvectors corresponding to distinct eigenvalues are linearly independent. Now, we are going to prove that the eigenvectors corresponding to distinct eigenvalues are linearly independent. So, for that, let us assume that let x1, x2 and so on xm be the eigenvectors A of A corresponding to distinct eigenvalues lambda 1, lambda 2 and so on lambda m. Let us assume that there exists k belongs to 1, 2, 3 and so on m such that x1, x2 and so on xk is the largest linearly independent set. So, our objective is to show that k equal to m. So, we know that k at least 1, a single non-zero vector is always linearly independent. So, k is at least 1, but our objective is to show that k is equal to m. Now, we claim that k equal to m. If k is less than m, then we have to prove a contradiction. Then x1, x2 and so on xk, xk plus 1 is linearly dependent set. Consequently, there exist scalars a1, a2 and so on ak not all 0 such that xk plus 1 can be expressed as linear combination of remaining vectors, that is xk plus 1 is equal to a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus and so on ak xk. By multiplying equation 1 by a minus lambda k plus 1 into I, we get 0 is equal to 0 vector is equal to a1 into lambda 1 minus lambda k plus 1 into x1 plus a2 into lambda 2 minus lambda k plus 1 into x2 and so on plus ak into lambda k minus lambda k plus 1 into xk. But lambda 1, lambda 2 and so on lambda k plus 1 are distinct. Thus, lambda I minus lambda k plus 1 is not equal to 0. Hence, x1, x2, xk is linearly dependent set, a contradiction to assumption that x1, x2 and so on xk is a linearly independent set, hence the proof. Now, we will study eigenvalues and eigenvectors of a symmetric matrix. We will prove that a real symmetric matrix, all its eigenvalues are real, and we will also prove an important result that a matrix is symmetric matrix if and only if it is orthogonally similar to a diagonal matrix. That means, in other words, if a matrix is symmetric matrix of order n, then it not only have n linearly independent eigenvectors, but one can choose the eigenvectors are mutually orthogonal. Now, we will show that a matrix with complex entries always has an eigenvector. So, obviously, it contains eigenvalue also. So, this is called existence of eigenvector for a matrix from with complex entries. So, theorem statement is, let A belongs to Mn of C and let V be vector in C minus 0, it is non-zero vector with complex entries. Then the set V, AV, A square V and so on A power n V contains an eigenvector of A. Proof, note that the set V, AV, A square V and so on A power n V contains n plus 1 vectors of C power n, hence it is linearly dependent set. So, there exist scalars a0, a1 and so on an, not all 0, such that a0 v plus a1 into capital AV plus and so on an a power n into v equal to 0. In other words, p of a into v equal to 0, where p of x equal to a0 plus a1x plus and so on an into x power n, which belongs to C of x. Here C of x means set of all polynomials in x with the coefficients from complex numbers. So, p of x is a polynomial with the complex coefficients. Now, by fundamental theorem of algebra, p of x can be written as d into x minus c1, x minus c2 and so on x minus cn. Fundamental theorem of algebra says that every polynomial of degree n can be written as product of linear polynomials. So, it is completely splits, every polynomial completely splits in C. So, p of x is written as d into x minus c1 into x minus c2 and so on x minus cn. For some c1, c2 belongs up to cn belongs to C, and 0 not equal to d belongs to C. Consequently, a minus c1 into I plus a minus c2 into I and so on plus a minus cn into I into v is equal to 0. Let W1 is equal to a minus c2 into I and so on a minus cn into I into v. If W1 is not equal to 0, then a c1 I into W1 is equal to 0. So, or equivalently C1 W1 is an eigenpair of A. So, we are done in that case. On the other hand, if W1 is equal to 0, then we have that A minus C2 into I and so on A minus Cn into I into V equal to 0. In this case, we can choose W2 is equal to A minus C3 into I and so on A minus Cn into I into V. Again, if W2 is not equal to 0, then A2 C2 I into W2 is equal to 0, or C2 W2 is an eigenpair. So, whereas if W2 equal to 0, then we continue the above process, need to do it at most n times till we get j less than or equal to n, such that A minus Cj into I into Wj is equal to 0 and Wj is not equal to 0. This can always be achieved as V is not equal to 0, hence the proof. Now, we are going to define orthogonal vectors. Let A be a matrix with complex entries, then A star is equal to defined as A transpose conjugate, that is entry wise complex conjugate, then we will transpose the matrix. So, with this notation, two vectors u and v, vectors also we can consider as a matrices of n by 1 size n by 1, that is a column vectors or column matrices. So, are said to be orthogonal if u star into v is equal to 0. Let A be a real symmetric matrix, then the eigenvalues of A are real. Moreover, corresponding eigenvectors can be chosen to have real entries. Furthermore, if u and v are eigenvectors of A corresponding to distinct eigenvalues, then u and v are orthogonal. So, this theorem has three parts. First, we have to show that eigenvalues are real, and we can also we have to show that the eigenvectors can be chosen with the real entries, and the third one, the eigenvectors correspond to distinct eigenvalues are orthogonal. So, we will first prove the proof for part of 1. It is given that A is a real symmetric matrix, that is important, otherwise matrix need not have a real eigenvalues. So, A star is nothing but A transpose, that is equal to A. So, lambda x is an eigenpair of A, then we have Ax equal to lambda x, and hence x star of A is equal to x star of A transpose, which is equal to x star of A star, which is equal to Ax star, which is equal to lambda x star, which is same as lambda bar into x star. So, lambda into x star x is equal to lambda bar into x star of x. So, with this we can show that lambda into x star of x equal to, with a simple calculation, we can show that lambda bar into x star of x. So, we can bring this one side, that is lambda times x star of x is equal to lambda minus lambda bar into x star minus x equal to 0. Since x is not equal to 0, so x star x is also not equal to 0. So, we have to so we are going to get lambda minus lambda bar is 0 or lambda equal to lambda bar. Lambda equal to lambda bar means that lambda is a complex number which is equal to its conjugate. So, that is nothing but lambda is real. So, as A has a real entries, lambda is a real number, the vector x satisfying Ax equal to lambda x can be chosen with real entries. Now, eigenvectors corresponding to distinct eigenvalues are orthogonal. So, we will prove the part 2. We will show that the eigenvectors corresponding to distinct eigenvalues are orthogonal. So, let Au is equal to lambda u and Av is equal to theta v for two distinct eigenvalues lambda and theta. Then as proceeding as above, we see that theta into u transpose v equal to u transpose into theta v, which is equal to u transpose into Av, which is also equal to u transpose A into V, or since A is symmetric, so A can be written as A transpose. So, u transpose A transpose into V or Au whole transpose into V, but Au is equal to lambda u. So, we have lambda u transpose into V. So, lambda into u transpose V. So, we have what we proved is theta into u transpose into V is equal to lambda into u transpose into V. So, if you bring to one side theta minus lambda into u transpose into V equal to 0, but we are assuming that lambda and theta are distinct. So, we have u transpose into V has to be 0. That means u is orthogonal to V. A subspace U is said to be A invariant if AU belongs to U for all U belongs to U. U is a subset of a vector space V, then we can define U perp is equal to all vectors V in V such that U transpose into V equal to 0. That means all the vectors which are orthogonal to U is collected as U perp, where for all U this has to happen. That means the vector V is orthogonal to each and every vector in U. So, the one of the result is that if A is a real symmetric n by n matrix, if U is A invariant subspace of R power n, then U perp is also A invariant. Since AU belongs to U for every U belongs to U and V belongs to U perp, we will get V transpose into AU equal to 0. Thus, by using A equal to A transpose, we get 0 is equal to V transpose into AU, which is equal to V transpose into A into U, which is V transpose A transpose into U, or AV transpose into U. Consequently, AV transpose into U equal to 0 for all U belongs to U. That means AV is orthogonal to every vector in U, or equivalently AV belongs to U perp whenever V belongs to U perp. Hence, U perp is A invariant. Now, we are going to prove an important result. For that, we need a following definition. A real square matrix A is said to be orthogonally diagonalizable if there exists a orthogonal matrix Q such that Q transpose into AQ equal to D, where D is a diagonal matrix. So, spectral theorem for real matrices, real symmetric matrices, A belongs to Mn of R, then A is orthogonally diagonalizable if and only if A is a symmetric matrix. First, only if part, if A is a real matrix which is orthogonally diagonalizable, then we need to show that A is symmetric matrix. As A is orthogonally diagonalizable, there exists an orthogonal matrix Q such that A is equal to Q D Q transpose, where D is a diagonal matrix. Thus, A transpose is equal to Q D Q transpose whole transpose, which is equal to Q D Q transpose. As Q is orthogonal matrix, so Q transpose is equal to Q. So, that is the reason we got this. So, which is equal to A. So, A transpose is equal to A. So, A is symmetric. So, we proved one direction. Now, we will see other part, if part. Now, if A is a, let A be a symmetric matrix, we prove the result by induction on n. For n is equal to 1, it is already diagonalizable. Assume the result is true for n equal to k, and A be a k plus 1 cross k plus 1 real symmetric matrix. Since A is symmetric, all its eigenvalues are real. Let lambda 1 V1 be an eigenpair of A, then without loss of generality, we assume that V1 is an unit vector. If it is not, then we can multiply by its length, then that is also unit eigenvector. So, without loss of generality, we can assume that V1 is a unit vector. So, then we will first extend this basis to whole of R power n, and then apply Gram-Schmidt orthogonal expressions to get orthogonal basis say V1, V2 and so on Vn of R power n. So, we define Q1 is equal to V1, V2 and so on Vn and n by n matrix. Q1 is an orthogonal matrix as it is, as its columns forms an orthogonal basis for R power n. Thus, Q1 transpose into A into Q1, which is equal to V1, V2 and so on Vn transpose into A into V1, V2 and so on Vn, which is equal to V1, V2 and so on Vn transpose into AV1, AV2 and so on AVn. So, which is equal to V1 transpose, V2 transpose, Vn transpose into lambda 1 V1 plus lambda 1 V1 comma AV2 and so on AVn. So, which is equal to V1 transpose into lambda 1 V1 V1 transpose AV2 and so on, Vn transpose into AVn. So, which is equal to lambda 1 times first 1 entry in this matrix Q1 transpose AQ1 is lambda 1, and entire that row remaining may be any entries, but the column below lambda 1 remaining is 0 and into A1 is equal another part is A1 equal to B. Now, since B transpose is equal to Q1 transpose AQ1 transpose, which is B is symmetric, so we can prove that B is equal to lambda 1 0 0 A1, where A1 is also symmetric matrix of size k by k. So, now we can apply induction on A1. So, by induction hypothesis there exists an orthogonal matrix P of order k such that P transpose A1 into P equal to D1, where D1 is a diagonal matrix. Now, we define P1 is equal to 1 0 0 capital P, then P1 is a k plus 1 cross k plus 1 matrix. Here 0 means an n minus 1 cross 1 column vector, or appropriately 0 it can be row vector or a column vector. So, P1 is a k plus 1 cross k plus 1 matrix. So, further it is an orthogonal matrix as well. So, now if you compute P1 transpose into Q1 transpose AQ1 P1, so it is equal to 1 0 0 P transpose lambda 1 0 0 A1 into 1 0 0 P. So, it turns out to be lambda 1 0 0 P transpose A1 into P, but P transpose A1 into P is nothing but D1. So, we got a diagonal matrix. So, that is we have required result. Thus, for any n by n real matrix A, there exists an orthogonal matrix Q such that Q transpose into A equal to D, a diagonal matrix, or equivalently if Q equal to y1 y2 and so on yn, then AQ equal to QD implies that A y1 y2 and so on A yn is equal to A into y1 y2 and so on yn, or which is equal to y1 y2 yn lambda 1 lambda 2 and so on lambda n, which is equal to lambda 1 y1 lambda 2 y2 and so on lambda n yn. So, as thus A yi is equal to lambda I yi, therefore, the entries of D are simply exactly the eigenvalues of A. So, now we are going to prove another theorem. Let A be a real symmetric matrix with eigenvalues lambda 1 greater than or equal to lambda 2 and greater than or equal to lambda n, then we will prove that lambda 1 is equal to maximum of norm x equal to 1 x transpose A x, lambda n is equal to minimum of norm x equal to 1 x transpose A x, and lambda n is less than or equal to minimum of diagonal entries A I of A less than or equal to maximum of A I, that is diagonal entries of A less than or equal to lambda 1. So, by previous theorem, the unit vectors of A, say x1 x2 and unit eigenvectors of A, say x1 x2 and so on xn be the eigenvectors of A, form an orthogonal basis for R power n with corresponding eigenvalues lambda 1 lambda 2 and so on lambda n. Since A is symmetric, this is possible from previous result. As x1 x2 and so on xn is a basis of R power n, for any x belongs to R power n, there exist scalars alpha I such that x can be written as a linear combination of these xi's, that is x equal to I equal to 1 to n alpha I xi. As x is a unit vector, note that summation I is equal to 1 to n alpha I square equal to 1. Thus, using orthogonality of xi's, we also have f of x equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n alpha I xi transpose into A into summation I is equal to 1 to n alpha I xi, which is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n alpha I xi transpose into summation I is equal to 1 to n alpha I ai xi. So, if you simplify further that using xi is an eigenvector of A corresponding to eigenvalue lambda I, then we will get summation I is equal to 1 to n alpha I square lambda I into xi transpose into xi, but xi's are orthogonal vectors, orthonormal in fact. So, we have that sigma I is equal to 1 to n alpha I square into lambda I. So, we therefore see that lambda 1 is equal to lambda 1 into summation I is equal to 1 to n alpha I square, which is less than or equal to I equal to 1 to n alpha I square into lambda I, which is equal to f of x greater than or equal to lambda n times summation I is equal to 1 to n alpha I square, which is exactly lambda n. So, thus we see that lambda 1 is maximum of x transpose A x, where norm of x equal to 1, and lambda n is equal to minimum of x transpose A x, where norm of x equal to 1. Furthermore, if x equal to E I, it is the ith standard basis for r power n, then we have lambda n is less than or equal to minimum of A I is less than or equal to maximum of A I less than or equal to lambda 1. In this module, we reviewed eigenvalues and eigenvectors of a square matrix. We showed that an eigenvector corresponding to unique eigenvalue, and we also showed that 0 is an eigenvalue of A if and only if it is a singular matrix, and we also showed that if lambda is an eigenvalue of A and q of x is any polynomial, then q of lambda is an eigenvalue of q of A. Now, we request reader to look for other simple problems or theorems or results which we not discussed in this module. So, like for example, the trace of a matrix is equal to sum of the eigenvalues, the determinant of a matrix is equal to product of the eigenvalues, and so on. With this, we end this module.